This Revival series is sponsored by my favorite source for vintage Volvo parts, VP Auto Parts. Since 1986, VP Auto Parts have been keeping classic Volvos rolling by manufacturing and supplying parts for the PV 122, 140, and 1800 series, and counting. 11 years ago, I found them as my only option for some hard-to-find vintage Volvo pieces. Now, they're my first choice. How do they do it? They've invested heavily in tooling to give us full interiors, OE-matched paint, brand new body panels, and hard-to-find mechanical and plastic pieces that were once completely unobtainable. We could only dream of finding them as new old stock survivors. Now, VP Auto Parts is a world leader in classic Volvo parts supply and production, matching OE catalog part numbers and quality. I even visited their warehouse in South Carolina. Thousands of square feet of beautiful parts, and I've been watching their inventory grow every year with 240, 740, 940, and 850 series parts. For all your classic Volvo needs, with fast shipping and excellent customer service, visit vp-autoparts.com and tell them David Bello sent you. Now, let's put some of those parts on my 1970 1800E.
To do before I put the heater box in is lubricate the cables.
Well, let's say you remove these cables and you forget which one goes where. Let's figure this out now. Floor is the rear cable, and the rear cable attaches to the rear of the box. Here, to floor. Oh, that was actually really easy. Defrost. Defrost opens up the other two vents. Cool. And of course, temp runs to the temperature control. The routing of the cables is around the motor and above any of the wiring, and then down and around the wires for the ECU. Pretty straightforward, compact little car. Something else that's important to do with this step is just reset these if they've pulled out. So, you can bend this to be a little bit tighter, or move the cable up a little more so there's more bite, because some of them have pulled out in ways that aren't good. This one's okay over here. This one's pulled out. And number 3 is looking okay. The important thing is just adjust them so that you get a full sweep of the door or the temperature control as you work the full sweep of the arm. And I can oil the armature too in here. Very straightforward to get it all out. Give me those cables. Yeah, if I wasn't putting videos together, this would have been done by now. So just give me a thumbs up, would ya? Appreciate my efforts.
Please. Help.
Lubricating the heater cables, my easiest and favorite method has been to hang them vertically, and then as you actuate the cable in and out, throw a few drops of oil in here, let it run down through the entire sheath, and once oil starts coming out the bottom, you know you've done your job. All right, I've been bottle feeding this thing for a while. I got one of the cables oiled all the way through, and just opening a little bit. Few drops of oil, cycling the cable, making sure it's not spilling over the plastic insulation, making sure that it's getting into the sheathing. Okay, oil's coming out of number 2, that's good. As the heater core gets put in, there are other components of the system that should be serviced right now. Inside of the cowl, this little fresh air door, you can see some hinge portions to it. There's like 4 spots we can oil, and I'm gonna be able to reach the top one from here, as well as the bottom one there from the top side. Then I want to go underneath the dash, oil the other 2, and I'll show you how to oil the cables. Here under the dash is the handle for our door. Pretty stiff, and there's the mechanism. The 2 on the right are the ones that I oiled, but if you were to look behind it, which will be actually the mirror image of the passenger side. There's the handle on the passenger side, and there's the mechanism. Everywhere where there's one of those nylon dots, oil both sides. Here the cable has the screw facing us. On the driver's side, that screw faces a pretty tight section, so I won't be able to really get behind it to oil the cable. So what I'll do instead is remove the lock nut on the back side with enough slack on the cable I can oil it. The cable, make sure you put it behind the handle next time it gets reinstalled, but this cable is long enough so that I can bring it out here, hang it up, oil it, and make sure I have smooth operation all the way through. It's just gonna be bottle feeding it for the next couple of hours. I'll do the other side now. Let's talk heater hoses. There are 3 hoses that we are gonna connect. And there are 6 connection points. From the back of the water pump, a water pipe runs under there, and it ends up being closer to the passenger side. Then you see over here, this is a connection to the back of the cylinder head. Sometimes these get pretty corroded, and they're also victims to oil soak. You can see the hoses that I pulled out of there are in pretty yucky shape. When it comes to doing these, you'll have to remove this one first to get access to the clamp for that one, unless you've managed to rotate the clamp over to this side. Then there's the heater core. We have the front and the rear connection on the heater core and our valve for the heater control, bottom and top. These are the hoses. First connection we'll make is from the bottom port of the heater valve to the top of the heater core, and that hose is 673706. Connection number 2 will be the bottom of the heater core to the back of the cylinder head. That is hose 673705. It's gonna go in like this, long way down, and the bend right there. Finally, we have the long boy, 673707, from the top of the heater control valve down to the water pump. And this one attaches like so. That 45-degree bend reaches to the back of the cylinder head, and the close to 90, maybe 70, 80-degree bend will be right up there. Like so. There are 3 kinds of hose clamps that we're going to cover now. The first kind is the stuff you'll find in every store. This has serrated cuts in it that allow the clamp to bend and allow the teeth to grab in the little worm gear. These are available in parts stores. This one is a little bit beefier than the stuff you'll see in the parts stores, but it is more or less the same design style where they're cut through. The rubber, it will get into these grooves and it will start to bite and chew into it a little bit more than using style number 2, which is closer to the OEM. And that's a clamp like this that has no cuts on the side. The inside of the clamp is a smooth and uniform surface, so you'll get more even clamping distribution. It's got the size of the clamp written down on it. And this looks a lot like the Volvo brand. These are a package that I got from Amazon. Interested in getting an assortment, especially if you have a full car to do, that's helpful. My highest recommendation for hose clamps comes from VP Auto Parts because they match the original manufacturer, make and design, and color, more importantly, because we know the value of these cars are in keeping it original. These clamps are manufactured by ABA, Sweden, and they have the same thing where the worm gear does not penetrate through this. The clamp band is solid on the inside. You get very uniform clamping distribution, and the tops are blue, as the original clamps are. I had some of these earlier ones that were flash rusting on Bruce, but it seems like they've updated the metal here, so it's more, it looks like, what's the word? Galvanized? It looks galvanized. It doesn't taste like bare metal either. So, these are 951787 is the part number for VP Auto Parts. I ordered 6 of these for the heater cores, and 952663, the larger ones, for the main hoses from the water pump to the radiator and the radiator to the top of the cylinder head. Here's a view of the original clamps-ish. The early model years, I think pre-66, had this style of clamp, which are also available. They're a little more wiry. And there's also a clamp that just uses 2 round wires, the same mechanism. Looking from the driver's side, you get a better sense of why you have to install the front of the heater core to the back of the cylinder head hose clamps first, because this guy's really gonna get in your way. As long as you do the small hoses first and the long one last, you won't have any problems getting your clamps in there. And if you're like me, yet again I am going to put the clamps exactly where the original brochures have them shown. Got to rotate them to the correct position because I care about putting it back to OEM. I'm weird that way. If you have rough fittings, like your old heater core, especially the ones on the back of the cylinder head, take a little sandpaper to them or something like an emery cloth, kind of get them smooth, and then a thin smear of super lube or some sort of like synthetic grease. Dielectric grease will work fine. Anything that's synthetic, that's not petroleum based, is going to be okay to use for installation. It'll really make those hoses go on a lot easier. It's not going to be bad for your system, and it's not going to be bad for the hose. Hey, it's been a good week. If I got about 6 hours in today and like 8 hours yesterday, so I'm happy to see that this car is starting to look more and more like a car again. Nice. Connecting details are going to happen later. I got to go back to work on that other 1800 a little bit more on Monday, and the rest of the week is going to be pretty busy. It's a lot. It's a mess. It's convoluted, but it's step by step, and you're here for all of it. Thanks for watching. One of my many jobs that I do is helping out with other car-related repairs, but today it's a new skill I'm learning. Underneath this cover is an Alfa Romeo 2600. You've probably seen it in some of my videos, but it's here in a garage that just had a spring break. So today I'm going to be learning how to do a spring break, a garage door spring replacement. Looks pretty dangerous, you know, all the stuff that is involved with these high tension springs. But we've got YouTube University, we'll learn. Even with the other spring that's not broken, it's a little bit longer from some stretch. And check this out, when I pick you up, you stay flat. It's got bend, but it stays flat. When I pick you up, you're floppy. It's very tired.
No, you'll never change it.